Hey there, collectors. It is Steven here, and it's going to be another one of those Steven's Talk videos. So if you just want to go ahead and keep this video open in one of your tabs and just gonna go on to another one, just so this way you can listen in, that's fine. There's not going to be too much showing up in the video of this. I'm just going to have one logo that you're probably going to be seeing for what might be the last time, unless, of course, you click on a news article. It's going to be about what you already know, Toys R Us. And a little while ago, official word came in that, well, the unofficial official word, through a conference call that the details came out about Toys R Us will be closing for good. They're going to be completely done, at least in the U.S. for retail locations, as well as the U.K. At this time, some of the international branches, from what I understand, in I think it's China, Japan, and a couple other places, they're still going to be up and running. No word yet exactly on the online side of things, but it's safe to assume that that's probably going to go under as well for the online side. So, I got a couple of mixed thoughts on that. I really do. And in short, I think the thesis of what I have to say at the end of the day is I feel bad for the employees of Toys R Us down at the ground level, the foot soldiers doing the work with the transactions, dealing with customers. I feel bad for them, but I don't feel bad that Toys R Us is closing. And I'll explain why. Let's go with the good side, the stuff that I'm going to miss, and then let's look at the cold, hard truth of the matter as to why I really don't feel, I don't feel so bad. So if you go into your local Toys R Us, if you've been there for some time, especially for me, because I don't need to reveal age. I think some of you folks can put a accurate guess in about how old I am. Toys R Us has pretty much been there since day one for me. I remember back in the day, I got my first copy of Pokemon Blue. That is probably my first memory of Toys R Us. One of the fondest memories I had in my childhood. I just remember showing up and just looking up and seeing that and getting Blue as a gift. And that really started, one of my big hobbies and one of my big interests in the Pokemon franchise, along with video games in general. So I do have to say that I do have the attachment there. Pokemon League for the trading card game, that was one of the outlets that I went to, along with the mall that was across the street. Yu-Gi-Oh! League, that too. And alongside that, there were employees that, I didn't necessarily become buddy-buddy with, but there were some employees over the years at a couple of different locations that I know have been there for years. There was one guy who was the gym leader at the Pokemon League, the tournament organizer for the Yu-Gi-Oh! League, and with him being there since the early 2000s up until, I actually haven't seen him in the last several months. I think the last time I saw him was mid-2017. We're talking at least, 15 to 17 years working at one location in our zone and whatnot. So you see some of the employees who have been there for so long, who have given all of their time to the company, and unfortunately, they're no longer there. There's also the fact that there is the brick and mortar store, the actual physical retail location where you can go and you can actually see the product in hand. You can take it home that same day. Unfortunately, there aren't many stores that are going to have that wide variety, along with the debatable exclusive that we're going to be able to have. There's always sort of that thrill of the hunt in some cases where it's like, is it going to be in stock today? No. And I'm not talking for something like you got to have right now, like let's say a NECA figure that they're only going to stock 5 of, and it's like, okay, yeah, great. And then you see in a local collector group or whatnot on Facebook, oh, hey, I got the last 3 of this. And it's like, oh, okay, great. But I'm talking like me, I walk into Toys R Us just recently just to kind of say goodbye because I don't know if I'm going to show up to that location again. And they had a 6-inch World of Nintendo Metroid. It's like something like that. You just find a diamond in a rough once in a while. You know, I also found the Kalos Starter Second Stage 3-pack that I had been looking for at retail because I passed on it when it initially came out, and I just finally found it because, hey, I want that to go with the Greninja figure that I have and the Ash Greninja. So it's like stuff like that we're really not going to have again, because if you look at Target, you look at Walmart, they cycle through things continuously, okay? Having worked at a Target in the past, yeah, I'm not afraid to say that. I know how inventory is. It goes out and we try to sell it as fast as possible, and if we can't, then it's going to sit and it's going to rot. And it's not the good sitting and rotting. It's the peg warmers that nobody wants. Sticking with the Pokemon theme, it's going to be that Mega Mawile figure that nobody cares about because, I'll be honest, it's kind of garbage. It's going to be the Transformers, the Bumblebees that are going to be sitting there, mostly the ones that are packed in the box that nobody wants or all the kiddies already have. So they're just going to sit there. Or the Grimlocks that are the stomp and change ones. Yeah. Nobody really wants that anymore. And stuff like that is just going to clog the shelf for years until they're finally able to get to one of those wholesale, retail, reseller companies that's going to put them out for like even $5 more than cost, maybe, if that. So with Toys R Us gone, that's going to be something that we're going to not have anymore. We're not going to have the familiar faces behind the counters who are going to be able to help you out. We're not going to have those childhood memories anymore that we can go back and we can say, at this spot, I found this figure, and we're just simply not going to have that. Maybe a couple of folks will have a connection with something like a Walmart or a Target or local mom and pop shop that's been around for a couple years, even a comic book shop. Like there's one in my area. I don't even know how long they've been around. I want to say about 20 years now. They have a fantastic customer base, but still, Toys R Us. It's something that everybody has. It's a shared experience among collectors and even for the kids, because they had some fantastic community days. I'm going to use the term community days because, let's be honest, that's what it is. Like, they had Pokemon Day a couple of times. They had Lego Day, this, that, and the other. And with things like that, you're not going to have that at something, or at least to that extent, at a Walmart or a Target or another company like that. They're not going to be able to accommodate for that. Toys R Us also had events for, like, let's say Pokemon as well, like in-game events for the video games, Diamond, Pearl, Platinum, Omega Ruby, Alpha Sapphire, things like that, you know? They were able to collaborate with video game companies, so this way they can have specific events. They can have specific days where you can come in and you can have PvP. And where are you going to get that aside from maybe a local video game shop? You know what I mean? So there are a few things that I am going to miss from just that interpersonal point. But now to flip it around and to have it from a business perspective, it's okay with me that they're going under at this stage of the game. Reason being is that they have some pretty bad practices up at the corporate level. One of the things alongside the bankruptcy that they had filed all the way back in September is that a whole bunch of folks up top got multi-million-dollar bonuses instead of trying to reinvest that back in the company and make sure that they were able to pay off their debt to keep extra stores open longer through the holiday season, which they said was one of the worst that they have ever had. When you have instances like that where money is poorly managed, you can't be too shocked at that a company is going to go under when you have practices that are like that. Think back to the automotive industry collapse circa 2008, where you had them flying to Congress in private jets. Hey, bail us out. Seriously? And, you know, looking back to some other things at the corporate level, like the 2005 sort of not really bailout and the buyout with Bain Capital and whatnot, the debt restructuring there. You know, was it the wisest thing to do? Maybe, maybe not. It was a short-term solution to something that needed to be addressed in the long term, but it clearly didn't work. Another thing that really hurt them, and something that I was pretty frustrated with, was definitely the price differences. Having seen what cost can be for some of the items that Toys R Us sells, okay, they're going to charge anywhere from 25 to 50% more than MSRP, which can usually mean anywhere from 60 to 80% above cost. So this way they can completely maximize their profit on everything that they sell. So for an example, if you were to have a Pokemon figure, I know I keep using Pokemon as an example, but it's something that you can easily check on their website. If you were to have a Pokemon figure that goes for $17 at Toys R Us, if you go to Target, you can find the exact same one for $13. MSRP on some Elite Trainer boxes for the trading card game would be $40 to $50 depending on the set. Toys R Us will charge anywhere from $50 to $75 for those exact same boxes. Toys R Us will charge anywhere from $22 to $25 to $30 for some NECA figures that would retail normally for $19 or $25, depending on whether or not they were just a standard release, like an Alien Warrior, or if it was an Ultimate figure. Now, prices can be different from the online store compared to in-store prices, okay? And seeing some of the prices from some of their New York locations being even more than some of the ones I'm seeing in my own stores, that's absolutely insane that they can't have consistent pricing across the board. So when you're charging more for the customers who know that they can just go elsewhere and get it, can you really blame them for the lack of business? Mommies and daddies, of course, they're going to pay the price because little Johnny and Sally want it. But at the same time, in today's day and age, that seems expensive. Let me go ahead and check the price. Boom, I can go ahead and go across the street to Target or to Walmart or even into the mall, and I can find the exact same item for significantly cheaper in some cases, or even with the Baby Zara side of things, which I really don't have too much experience with, but at the end of the day, higher prices for items you can get cheaper are definitely a source of driving away traffic. Now, a counter argument I've seen from a couple of employees is that, oh, we have price matching. The problem is that the price matching structure for Toys R Us is very, or in this case was very difficult, because you could not take a picture of a price tag that had the MSRP listed on it from another store and bring it in and have them honor that. No. You had to have on your phone or a printed ad the exact item shown that it was offered by a legitimate retailer. So it had to be sold by Amazon. It had to be sold by Target. It had to be sold by FYE, Walmart, etc., etc. And it had to clearly display the price for the exact same item, which, you know, makes sense. But if it's release day for the newest Yu-Gi-Oh! Structure deck that they're charging $15 for and MSRP is $10, and you have to fight with the manager to show that that should be a little bit cheaper, and then they won't even honor it completely by charging $11 and then adding on tax. It's kind of a situation where, is it even really worth fighting them for that price match when you can wait or just go elsewhere? I've tried price matching on a couple of other things, and sometimes they just simply wouldn't give it to me because there was not enough proof that there wasn't something else affecting the market value of that item, and Toys R Us would strive to be the cheapest available option around. With that attitude, I'm not even going to bother with the price matching option. Then you have the online storefront, which was absolutely archaic. A new item comes up, not available for purchase. It's not available at all, but you can click on the system that doesn't work to get notified when an item pops up, because when you do get that notification and you tap on that on your email on your phone, you go to the item page, not available to order. Seriously? Not to mention not pulling up everything in search results. So for an example, something that I would often look for would be the newest Pokemon releases. So they would list stuff that you can't purchase, but it would be live on the website. So when you're checking for Pokemon in general, you're not going to pull up the Decidueye figure that's listed individually, but I can actually send you the URL that is listed there that you can find through a Google search. Why? Why wouldn't you show me everything that pops up? that kind of defeats the purpose for having a search system in general, don't you think? You can at least tag it to show up in the franchise that it should be a part of. And then there's not an option for price matching online, plus a fluctuation for what may or may not qualify for free shipping. At one point it was $50, then it dropped down to $15, and then it jumped up to $30, and you have sales that pretty much effectively act as a flash sale that you would get 15% off of one item for 8 hours only, noon Pacific time to 8 p.m. Pacific time. Sales like that, impossible to anticipate, and though yes, that does trigger those immediate impulse purchases, I might not be able to find anything in that time where I think, oh hey, I want to buy this. Give me at least, 3 days warning that there's going to be a sale, or at least extend it for a little bit longer than that. eBay has the common sense to say, hey, we'll send you a coupon code that's going to last for only 2 days, but hey, you get 2 days to think about what you want to use that on. And they at least have a system set up where you can anticipate, hey, towards the end of the month, they might have a coupon code where you're going to get 15% off an order of $75 or more. So when you have systems like that that kind of work against the customer for them to save money to make purchases on your already overpriced stuff, not really effective. Plus, since it's so random, if I find something on the website that I do want to purchase, like let's say the Tapu Koko Pokemon figure that I was looking forward to get, I'm seeing it at $17. Why don't I wait to make that purchase until you have one of those random sales, and then I'll get it for MSRP. But by the time that sale comes around, that item is out of stock. Are sales really a benefit to you guys then? At the end of the day, if I can't get the item that I was looking to get at MSRP, so that's a bit of a head scratcher for me. I don't really know exactly how that would benefit a good amount of the customers who are looking for specifically what they want when items pop up and then come down for order in such a frequent way. And it's not just for the Pokemon stuff. It goes for some of the NECA stuff. World of Nintendo, which is another thing that they can't seem to get the right quantity of. So yeah, Pokemon, NECA, World of Nintendo. I've seen it often for the Dragon Star stuff, which they simply won't stock, but that can be a distribution thing. I've seen it for some Diamond Select stuff. So it's not just limited to some of the things that I'm specifically interested in. It's in a wide range of stuff. Now, speaking of the collectibles, that's another thing that I think Toys R Us really shot themselves in the foot on, though this could be more so from the distribution standpoint. Yes, they do carry things from Tamashii Nations thanks to the folks at Bluefin, which is really great that they actually got them into brick and mortar stores like Toys R Us and Barnes & Noble, who's also looking to go belly up relatively soon. So I'm wondering if there's a pattern there. Regardless, that's not the point of this video. When they would get the collectible items in, that would be just above and beyond the Marvel Legends, the Power Ranger stuff, the NECA, Diamond Select, all that good stuff like I've mentioned, they would have SH Figuarts, they might have the new robot spirits from Tamashii Nations, the Pacific Rim Uprising stuff, they have some Tamashii buddies and whatnot. The only problem with that would be anyone who really wants that would have already gotten it. From Amazon, from Big Bad Toy Store, from AmiAmi importing it, from Hobby Search, so they would have gotten it months ago. So if you have the SH Figuarts War Greymon, our war game version, right? If you have that showing up in stores as of, what was that, December of 2017, that's when I first saw it, that figure came out so long ago, and the target audience who knows about these things, like I said, they've already ordered it. They already have it. And they're not naturally going to think, oh, I'm going to go to the overpriced Toys R Us and pay MSRP or more when I can get it on Amazon for cheaper. Now, you're probably thinking, well, what about the casual collector who comes in and might go ahead and pick that up? That's fine and dandy. Maybe they do actually come and pick that up. But you know the sales that they're actually really trying to get? When they're going to sell the $55 Goku Awakening figure or the $50 Battle Damaged Gohan and whatnot, the same folks who might come in because they know that the Dragon Stars figures are there from Dragon Ball Super. Or maybe Mommy comes along with little Johnny and that's what they're going for, the Dragon Stars, even though that they're not there. And they're going to see the Goku figure that's there from Tamashii Nations. Instead of making that purchase, though Johnny may end up getting it because he's going to stomp and cry because he wants his Goku, Why are you going to spend $50 on a toy? You know what I mean? So having those there for the general foot traffic, cool, you're going to get a couple of sales, but they're months old. They're at MSRP, and generally speaking, anyone who's going to be interested knows that they're going to be available elsewhere for cheaper. So catering to that new collector market is only good in a limited capacity, because maybe that's the gateway into someone for SH Figuarts. Maybe that Goku, maybe that War Greymon, maybe the Sailor Moon, whatever. Hey, fantastic. That's your first one, and now you're going to branch out and you're going to find, after doing a little bit of research, you can get them elsewhere sooner for cheaper. So, hey, cool. More power to you. There are a couple other things that I can go into, but I'm seeing it's about a 21-minute mark right now. I would imagine not too many folks have gotten to this point, unfortunately, so there are a lot of words said that are going to be unheard, and I don't really feel like editing too much for this video. So I'm going to go ahead, and I'm going to end it here, and I'm just going to summarize that Toys R Us going under is bad for the folks who have been on the ground floor, who have been running the registers, running the stores, to put it simply, who are now only getting a 60 days notice, technically, when they go in for their shift today, Thursday, March 15th, 2018, right? They're going to learn that, because there was someone in a Facebook group who said this, that they already got the memo ahead of time because their manager was really cool, that within 60 days, about all stores should be closing. They're going to be out of a job. And for us older folks who grew up with Toys R Us, who have their fondest memory of picking up their first Power Ranger or their first Godzilla or their copy of Pokemon Blue, like me, that's not going to be around anymore. Or the convenience, simply that factor alone of actually being able to go and take a look at some of the things in hand, or maybe you want to inspect the quality control in hand, that's going to be gone. But at the same time, you have a company that charged way more than MSRP, charged anywhere from 60 to 80% more than cost, which generally speaking, you have companies charge between 15 to 40% higher than cost. And then you have mismanagement at the corporate level that's completely trashing the company with seemingly not even being able to comprehend what $5 billion in debt means. Honestly, goodbye. Goodbye. I think there will be another company that can come in and at least maybe try to fill in the shoes in providing that wonderful Toyland experience of the younger generation. But you know what? The times are changing. And having not necessarily worked with, what would be the right word? Having, well, engaged some of the younger folks today, they're not really interested, seemingly, in that experience. They want more of the digital media, which they can get elsewhere. They can download the latest app. They don't need Toys R Us for that. So, I don't know. Do I agree for them? To an extent. But I think at the end of the day, they put themselves into this situation, and the only thing I'm going to miss would be the memories, and I feel bad for the folks who work there. So those are my thoughts. At that point, I can only recycle what I've said, so I'm going to end the video here. Thank you guys so much for listening. I want to hear what your fondest memory was for Toys R Us down in the comments below, and I want to hear your thoughts. What do you think? Obviously, it is sad, again, for the folks who do work there, and I think that it's not fair to them. And I do think that just having that retail location is upsetting. But at the same time, at the corporate level, there's a lot of stuff that didn't work out. So I want to hear your opinion. Do you agree with me? Do you disagree? Do you have another thought to throw into the whole conversation? Again, that's what the comment section is for. Thanks for watching. I'll catch you in the next video.